Hello, good afternoon. This is U.S. Immigration Attorney Sharifa Tharpe. I'm here live to take your U.S. immigration related questions, but I want to share some good news. So, as the weeks go by, we are getting approvals. We got a green card in the mail. We got two actually. I believe 2 weeks ago, or close to 2 weeks, no, 2 weeks, really 2 weeks now, today, I attended an interview. Was for a VAWA case with my client, and we've been getting the green cards in the mail. So this was a little unusual to have to be called into an interview. But, given that this was a strong case, I figured that this was more about the documents, verifying the documents of my clients in the interview. And that's exactly what happened. Sometimes the officers want to look at the documents, they want to verify them in person. That's what happened here. We got the approval on that. So our client is now a 10-year green card holder. And in the other case, it was a marriage-based case, about 10 months. The case took about 10 months, no interview. We got it in the mail. Now, the secret with marriage-based and the VAWA is that you have to, with any immigration, as a matter of fact, if you don't want delays, you don't want denials, you don't want requests for evidence, sometimes it's inevitable. But the best thing you can do is put your best foot forward to submit all the evidence that you have from the start. That's how you're going to excel in these cases. And that's what we do here at ST Law Office. We make sure that we submit all the evidence and the best application that we can at the forefront. So we're celebrating here in the office, we're celebrating with our clients, and we also got a T visa approval. The work permit came, the 4-year work permit came. So we are going to be celebrating with our client. And with the T visas are my favorite, just because in the case of the T visas, these are clients that thought they had no hope of getting their papers. But at the same time, because not many attorneys practice this specific area of immigration law, it is also often overlooked by other attorneys as something that they can qualify for. So by the time they find me and I tell them about this thing that they're going to qualify for, and they go ahead and take the leap and get it, it's my favorite to get those results because they came in not having any hope. So we have a case like that again, where our client really was destitute, was in a very bad situation, and just did not have a way forward. Well, they are going to be rest easy. They're going to have a promising future, and they're going to be able to achieve their goals, get their green card next because of this T visa. All right. So now that I've shared the successes for the week, and it's still not even the end of the week, I want to answer your questions. But one more thing, I know sometimes I can get a little chatty at the beginning. I haven't seen you since late last week, so I want to make sure that I'm getting it all out. We have less than 1 week to vote. If you are registered to vote and you're a U.S. citizen, first of all, check to see when the deadline is to register to vote in your state. If you haven't already, if the deadline hasn't passed, make sure you still register to vote. And then go vote. As a citizen, go vote. Go blue. I'm team blue all the way. I'm an immigration attorney. I'm a human being. So I understand what's at stake here. So go vote and vote blue. We have less than a week. Tuesday, we will find out the outcome of this election. And I can tell you there is going to be a stark difference in what we can expect for the future, depending on whether Kamala Harris wins or Trump, right? So there's a lot at stake here, especially for women, for immigrants, for people who are here with other ethnicities. As you can see, we've had disparaging statements about different groups of people, hateful statements, and that's just a preview of what they have in store for us in the future, right? In 2025. So go vote. Don't waste any more time. I voted. It was quick. I walked straight to the office and dropped my ballot in the box. So it was very easy. Try to get there before the lines get long, but hey, for what's at stake, even if the lines are long, stick it out and get it done. That's the biggest sacrifice that you can make right now. All right. So now that I have said this part, given you this reminder, let's get into questions. So I see, hi there, Dream Queen of Hearts, Team Blue all the way. Yes, absolutely. Team Blue all the way. Team Blue is for humanity, is for democracy, is for what America stands for. It's not about the hate, the hateful speech, the division. So go vote and vote blue. I voted already. Awesome. I'm so happy to see that. How long does it take for I-130 to get approved, child under 21? So I've been seeing 9 months as the average time. What effect will remarrying have on pending I-751 based on divorce waiver? So that is a good question. Now, if you are the immigrant, you're waiting for a divorce waiver. Remarrying somebody else is not going to fix it, because I've seen that where you remarry somebody else thinking, okay, you just get another green card. That's not going to fix it. If you are remarrying because you are just moving on after the divorce, I would say you need to definitely talk about strategy here, because first of all, this is a divorce waiver, but is there also a VAWA waiver involved as well? Because that could possibly disqualify you if you remarry before they make a decision. And then we have to think about the facts. Do the facts, the fact that you're divorced and then you're remarrying, so I don't know if it's so quickly afterwards, but are those going to affect the credibility of your application? Are the facts going to somehow be conflicting? Are you looking to sponsor somebody now? And is that why you're remarrying them? So we have to get down to the facts and whether those facts are going to cause complications. Because yes, remarrying, even though I would have to check to see if this is outright, this could disqualify you for the I-751, because I know under VAWA, remarrying while it's pending will disqualify you from getting the VAWA. And the I-751 process does fall under VAWA where there's mistreatment, but you've mentioned the divorce. So we'd have to check to see, does the divorce waiver allow you to remarry? And then also, even if it does, is that advisable? Because it could cause a conflict in the facts of your case. So you want to, this is more about strategy than anything else. How long I-751? So the last case that we just got approved, it took a year and a half to be approved, but the average timeline we're seeing is 2 to even 4 years. Can someone eligible for the T visa, if employer doesn't give the SSN, have tax in W-2 as a fraud? So, this is the thing with the T visa. I would not be able to tell you right here and then, just based on one fact, whether you qualify for the T visa. This fact alone it could be a red flag, right? But it doesn't confirm for me. When we're evaluating whether you qualify for the T visa as a victim of trafficking, because trafficking is very broad in its definition, we have to look at the entire picture, not just a snapshot of what you went through, because it's the entire picture that's going to determine whether you qualify. So I would say here, if you are feeling like you're being the victim of fraud by your employer, that is a big red flag. And you need to call us and talk to us about the bigger picture. Yes, this is an important fact, but we need the whole story. If my daughter is a US citizen, file for me. Is it faster for me to come to the US first? And how long is it? Now, remember, you can't come to the US and, say, I'm coming to the US to do the adjustment of status. If you come in with that intention and they find that out, they can find you for misrepresentation. However, if you're already here and then you decide that you want your daughter to sponsor you, it definitely, adjustment of status is definitely moving faster than at the embassy right now. So it's always preferable to do adjustment of status if you're here in the US. Will USCIS find out if you claim to be a US citizen on an I-9 as a minor? Yes, they will. At this point, it's time to explore your options and talk about what happened. Keep in mind that that does lead to a permanent bar. Now, if you were a minor and you honestly believed you were a U.S. citizen because maybe both of uh, your parents were U.S. citizens, or they raised you as a U.S. citizen, not telling you that you weren't, there may be a waiver for you. So this is not necessarily a hopeless case, but we have to understand the facts here. How old were you? You said you were a minor, so I'm assuming you were under 18. And then was it willful? Did you willfully claim U.S. citizenship? Or did you honestly believe you are a US citizen? There's a big difference there. Another thing to keep in mind is that if you face certain circumstances that qualifies you for the T visa, it really is the only type of visa that then allows you to still get forgiveness for this, where you can then still get your green card, right, once you get forgiveness for it under the T visa. So I would have to understand your facts here, and then we could come up with a plan. Can someone eligible for T visa if employer doesn't give the SSN half? Okay, so let's definitely call and talk. If they are pulling money out of your pay that they can't explain and they're not explaining to you, red flag. That's usually a red flag for T visa, and there's usually more to it, and we have to discuss what's going on in your situation. What is the wait time for the DS-260 approval? So I would say a year and a half to 2 years to get the interview. Thank you so much, Dream Queen of Hearts. I appreciate that. If a citizen parent refuses to put in filing for adult child, can the adult child apply for VAWA? If this started when you were under 21 and they were mistreating you, and a part of the mistreatment was refusing to file for you, then it's possible. If you are under 25, then that also means that you could qualify if you were under 25. If you were under 21 when it happened, but you didn't apply until you were under 25, you haven't reached 25 yet, it's still a possibility. This is where we need to talk to you to figure out what the facts are. Can someone with menacing charge and weed charge and on probation file for their spouse? Yes, it's possible with a menacing child charge. If it's involving a minor and it falls under the Adam Walsh Act, then that might be a problem. But I have seen spouses with criminal records, serious criminal records, still sponsor their spouses. How long will VAWA take? So the entire process takes about 2.5 to 3 years. You do get the work permit, and we apply for the travel document for our clients to have around the 6 to 12 month mark after filing, and and you get your social security number. So that tends to now they're issuing 5 year work permits, so it tends to provide my clients with stability, and it really gives them more than stability, it gives them peace. They're able to get a head start on their lives while they wait for the green card. Like, for example, my client who just got the approval, I'm so proud of my client, and it just gives me such pride to know that could be a part of their journey. Because when I met my client was just a minor. And my client, after the interview, my client is now working as in tech with his work permit. He's working in tech now. He has a supervisory position in a growing business. And he took me out to breakfast. He paid for my breakfast. So, just to see how much during this time when he had his work permit, he had his travel document, he had his social security number, he was able to get a head start on his life. He went from a minor to an adult, a responsible, thriving adult, confident professional. And that is really what it's about here. So the time, there it is a length of time, but the benefit is my client got to do all of this in peace on his own without the involvement of any kind of drama, ratchetness, abuse, mistreatment. All of that was gone. So my client could focus on just growing up and thriving. If I'm working on an H-2B visa, how can I get my status now? So that's a very broad question. I'm not sure. It depends on where are you now? What are you doing? That's going to help me to understand how you'd be able to because if you're applying for a H-2B, what's your status now? Are you out of status? If you're out of status, chances are you're not going to be able to get that H-2B visa. Okay. So if you had a consultation and you're told that you have a strong T visa case, so for example, with our firm, we don't choose losing cases. When I don't waste my clients' money, I make sure that they are making a valid and worthy investment to get their papers. So if we're saying that our clients have a strong case, then believe it. And if you're walking away from that, you are probably missing an opportunity of your life, an opportunity for the life that you want. You're missing the opportunity for the life that you want here in the US. Because usually the T visa, while it's a good option, is usually the last resort as well. And so, if you can't take the attorney's word for it, then what? I guess nothing else will work. You have to put your mindset in the right place. And that's what my clients do, and it's working for them. How long was your client waiting? So if you're talking about the VAWA, it was 3 years that we waited to get the decision and then get the green card. So the decision was about 2.5 years, and then we got the green card on the 3 year mark. Hello on YouTube. It's so nice to see you. All right. How long is work permit for T visa? So we're still waiting to see when they're going to issue the work permits while you wait for T visa approval. But I'm hoping it's going to be about 3 to 6 months, but that's just an estimate. We have to wait and see. So as soon as I start to get a handle on when we start to get those work permits, I can tell you, give you a more accurate timeline on when work permits are expected to come under the T visa. So we'll have to see. My green card was sent back because my son moved from the address. I was told to do biometrics, and I did from the 25th of June this year. How long will it take for them to send it back? So if they have it and all they have to do is send it back, it could be a few months. But if you're applying for a replacement card, that could be a year to a year and a half. Hi there. If Trump wins, will the T visa? I think I see discount. I'm thinking that means some like disappear or be discontinued, right? Because I see T visa discounting, so I think that means discontinued. That's a valid question. And what I'm gonna say here, and I actually have a video talking about this because I think this is something we need to be logical at the same time. In Project 2025, they have said that they will do away with T visas, VAWA, U visas, asylum. But what they're saying is not exactly representative. It's not an exact representation of what can happen. Because remember, the president doesn't make these laws. It's Congress that makes these laws, right? So we would have to have a majority in Congress, a majority that can repeal the laws and then pass new laws that says these are not allowed anymore, right? Or just repeal them. But the president alone can't do that. So it's going to be harder than you think. Now, here's another thing, food for thought. And this is why I think it's also very important to make sure that you apply. Now, the hope is Kamala wins. That's what we're all working towards. However, in that case where Trump wins, I don't like to say that. I don't even like to think about it. But if that's the case, can he just come in and get rid of the T visa? No, not on day one. He wouldn't be able to do that. It would have to be an agenda that Congress then passes. And that's a procedure that's going to take months to do, right? There are going to be debates, there's going to be protests, there are going to be Congress people fighting back against this because these types of immigration relief, it's for victims. These are for victims of certain types of mistreatment, abuse, trafficking, crime. So, of course, you're going to have a big blowback if they're trying to get rid of relief that is there to protect vulnerable immigrants. So, and then during the debates, they have to go through pass it. They have to pass it at the representative stage, pass it at Senate stage, and then it goes to the president. So that's a whole process. But here's what you need to think about from a strategic point of view. Whenever we're dealing with laws like this, repealing, even if, say, the conditions are right, Trump comes in. Now we have the majority. Chances are Republicans that support repealing or will jump on board to repeal these kinds of protections. It has to be done in such a way that they can't turn around and say everybody that already applied will no longer qualify. Whatever happens, they're going to look forward. You have to look forward. There has to be some form of notice given. They can't look backwards and then say they're going to just not process these applications. They have to just apply it going forward. So anybody who applies after all of this takes place and they repeal the laws, yes, they would suffer. But the ones that apply, our chances are will be grandfathered in. That means that their process can go through based on the policies that were in place when they applied. But those who apply after it's repealed, if that even happens, will then suffer those consequences, because there will be no application to apply for after it's repealed. So this is where action is very important. You're never going to hear me say, go hide in the shadows. Action, hiding in the shadows, hiding yourself is just making yourself more vulnerable in the worst case scenario. But let us be positive here. Let's practice positivity. Let's move forward with positivity. That the right person is going to win. The right people in Congress are going to win. And instead of mass deportations or mass fear and persecution, frankly, of individuals, we're going to have immigration reform, positive immigration reform in 2025, where many more people can get a path to residency. People who have been paying taxes, who have been working all these years, will get their papers. That will have a president who will continue to pass positive, humane, fair, and just immigration policies that we have been seeing lately. So that's where we will be right now. So I'm saying right now we have a chance. So citizens, go vote, play your part, so that we don't have to deal with sad stories here. We don't have to deal with injustice. We don't have to be separated from family, friends, employees. That everything can progress, can continue to progress. All right. Okay, my VAWA case was approved a month ago. What should happen next? They sent me a C-31 work permit, but I have my combo card for 4 years more. Can I still use it for traveling? So if you have a valid travel document, you can use it. But always make sure you check with your attorney before traveling. When did your T visa clients apply? So it was a year and 4 months. It was a year and 4 months. Another thing to keep in mind here is that when they're passing new rules that says they're going to issue work permits while we wait for approval of the T's, I believe it means that one, they're preparing for longer processing times. We're seeing it now. I'm seeing it going from a year to even a little over, so 12 months to 18 months to get decision. So this is where, keeping that in mind, don't procrastinate. And also they're preparing for when we have met the max number. So every year they can only issue 5,000. And then after that, you're put on a wait list and you're given deferred action and given a work permit to wait for a number to come current so you can get your T visa. That has never happened, but I'm anticipating they are now implementing these policies because that is going to happen. Because the way that they have now structured the policies, it is more immigrant friendly. So it makes it more appealing for immigrants to apply for this and for attorneys to advocate for clients to get this. While I wish there were many more attorneys who knew about this, so that because we are trying to help as many people as possible. And the more attorneys on board doing this kind of work means the more immigrants can get assistance to get their T visas or relief like this. So in this case, the attorneys that are working on these cases, we are pumping those applications out. We're getting those out so our clients can get relief. And it looks like it's getting there. It's going to get to the limit. Now, getting to the limit doesn't mean you will not get relief. It just means that you're going to be placed in deferred action, given permission to stay here and wait on and get given a work permit while you wait for a decision. That has not happened yet. But I'm saying it's going to probably gonna happen soon. Uh, how long for the T visa process? So 12 to 18 months, but they've implemented a process now, which we're applying for all our clients. So we just finished completing all the bona fide determination applications and work permit applications for our clients, so that when upon initial review, our clients can get a work permit while they wait. So we're waiting to see how long they're going to take to issue those work permits. Can a sibling of a U.S. citizen file for self-petition VAWA? No. But if you are a sibling of a U.S. citizen, you're being mistreated, give us a call, because I can imagine what you may be going through, and that can mean a T visa. If your sibling brought you here, is having you work for them, taking care of the kids, doing things you were not willing to do, but now you're within their control, then that means that you could qualify for the T visa. Thanks so much for the gifts on TikTok. I appreciate it. How many months does your firm take to file the T visa? So it's on a case by case basis. Now, what you will always hear me say is the reason we are so good is because we don't run a McDonald's drive through. You can't with this kind of case, right? This is a T visa case where we have to make sure that it's a solid application, especially with many of our clients coming to us with limited documentation and only memories in their head of what happened to them. And so we have to make sure we take the time to present a solid case so our clients can be approved. So it's on a case by case basis on how quickly we can move. But one thing is, our clients, once they're enthused, they jump on board, they give us what we need, we can move pretty quickly. If you have your 10-year green card and you're divorced, what can you do to get citizenship? You'd have to wait 5 years to get your citizenship. Can I apply I-130 and I-485 for my child who is over 21, citizen? No, chances are not. If the priority date isn't current, your child is here, but priority date isn't current, it takes 5 to 7 years for that even to become current. It's unlikely your child who's over 21 is going to be able to stay and go through the adjustment of status process. So they should not be overstaying, because it can't be done like that. You have to be very careful with that process. A friend of mine husband put her out. She leave the United States because he say he would divorce. So that if the spouse is a U.S. citizen, then that could be a VAWA case. But we'd have to talk to them. They're outside of the country, so that would be a two-step process. We'd file the petition first, then it would have to go to the embassy. So we'd have to talk to them to figure out the best approach here. What do I need to apply for EB2 NIW? So that is probably for another live, because that's a whole other case type. So with the EB2 NIW is where you're self-petitioning based on your advanced degree or your exceptional ability. And the main focus of this, once you have the educational requirements, or you can show exceptional ability. With exceptional ability, you still do have to show proof that you have exceptional ability through certifications, through experience, through different types of maybe awards you've won, to show that you make more money in salary because of your talent. You have publications, or you've been featured in publications. Those are some examples. I believe you can present 2 of 3 of the 6 or 2 of the 6 to show exceptional ability. Once you either show your educational requirements, or you show that you have exceptional ability, then the next stage of that is to show that you meet 3 prongs. That means 3 requirements. So that's going to be that you're pursuing a goal of national importance and substantial merit, That doesn't mean you have to invent anything or you have to be famous, but it means that whatever you're doing is going to be beneficial to the US, to the economy, to the community. It's important. That's why, even though STEM is not exclusively for STEM applicants, STEM is science, math, engineering. Um, what it does, STEM is very important in technological development right now, in the study of even climate change, what's happening in the climate, solar energy right now. Those are very important in those industries here, because those are areas that we want to expand. So STEM, there's an emphasis on STEM, but it doesn't mean that you can also be an accomplished business person. You can do other industries as well, like, for example, in education, or in in education, science, so STEM fields, and business, right? You can be accomplished in those areas as well. So showing that you are going to achieve an important goal in that area, you have the means to achieve that goal by presenting evidence of your experience, your education, the ties that you have. That's going to help you to establish that you have the means to achieve that goal. And then the last prong, it is more beneficial to the US to grant this green card to you without requiring an employer to sponsor, to show that you need the green card now, because you need to get to work now and not wait for the process to pass. So thanks so much for the love. I appreciate it. That, in a nutshell, is what the EB-2 national interest waiver is about. And it really depends on what your individual accomplishments are. Can I adopt my undocumented grandson and adjust his status? Yes, that's possible. If they are under 16, you complete the adoption process before they're 16. You also have to show that you have had custody, full physical and legal custody of them for 2 years, and then you'd be able to file for the adjustment of status and the adjustment of status and the petition. Can my green card holder's boyfriend sponsor me? No, you have to be married for that. Would you say one overstay if her documents is being filed for and she leave the US? So they're going to hold that against her for the visa. And once you leave the United States and the papers were filed and you left, they will see this as an abandonment of your adjustment of status. So it will cause a double whammy, in that it's going to be held against them if they indeed overstayed, and then the filings may be held against them if they're renewing the visa. So they have to be prepared for anything. I heard early green card application after T visa approval. What does this mean? Yes, that is possible. So there is a process to apply to get permission. You get a special letter that authorizes you to, and we do that for our clients, to apply for the T visa earlier than the 3 years. Once we get the letter, then we can file for adjustment of status. So it's a 2-step process: get the letter giving permission and then apply for adjustment of status. Why does it say 2 months to interview, then change to 3, then 4, then 3? Because it's just all for show. That app, it's not reliable. Do you have to land in the state where your petition files from? No. How to get green card if promised work 2 years ago and no work without marriage? Give us a call. I want to know more, because if somebody promised you to apply for you to get you to work for them and they are not doing it, then there's some fraud there, and we need to get to the bottom of it. And that's a form of labor trafficking by fraud. All right, I'm going to answer a few more questions and then I have to head out. Can a church apply for a green card for someone if they work for that church? Yes. So usually the church can sponsor them on an R visa, and then from there they can sponsor them for the green card. Can child file for a parent citizenship? Yes, not the citizenship, but for their residence, as long as the child is 21 or older. Okay, here's one. Hi, attorney. TVAP is necessary to file T visa. So it's not, oh, here's what I would say. It's not required. But for example, for our clients have gone through a lot. And we go ahead and refer our clients for assistance like counseling, for services, food assistance, medical assistance, anything, rent assistance. So anything that our clients may need to help them to thrive while they wait for an approval is going to be a plus. But also, when they get those services, it is also showing to immigration that they are here and receiving services for because of what happened to them. So TFAP ultimately does make a case stronger. So our clients take advantage of it. They don't lose because they need it. They've been through a lot and they need that assistance. So our clients take it, and we then can show that to our to the immigration that they're here currently receiving assistance from TVAP. TVAP is Trafficking Victims Assistance Program. So we have our coordinator here that works exclusively with our clients to accommodate that process for them. Can you use I-765C receipt notice attain a driver's license? No, you need to show that you got the work permit. What happens after I-130 approved? Does I-45 take? Yes, sometimes it comes afterwards. Yes. So we've been seeing that sometimes. I have submitted my I-130 from September. I have not have received any notices. Can you tell me if it takes longer to get an answer? That may be a little longer, so I'm not sure. How can someone get TVAP? So it's we refer our clients because we understand their situation. So we go ahead and refer our clients through their referral. It's a confidential referral process that we go through. Um, What do I need to remove my 2-year conditional green card on my own? I'm still married to my wife. I wouldn't recommend you do it on your own. We just got an approval, and our client was smart enough to know that this is what was on the line. And she put her trust in us, and we got her a green card even earlier than we anticipated. So I would say don't do it alone because that can be disastrous. It can get complicated, especially when you're trying to apply without your spouse and you're still married to them. Is a T visa like seeking asylum? It's a form of relief. It's not asylum. It's two different things. Asylum, it has a different legal standard than the T visa. All right, that's gonna be it for me. I'm trying to go through Instagram to see if I can catch one more question. Um, when I apply for a green card for my spouse, how long would it take for SSN and work permit to approve? I would say 3 to 6 months. Um, how can one get a green card on an expired B1, B2 visa? You can't just get one. You have to qualify through family, employment, through alternative means. So this is where you need to get in touch with us. Can you please send the contact information? Go to the profile page, click on the link. You'll see everything you need. You can schedule your own appointment or call the office. They are more than happy to assist you with getting a consultation. You have 3 attorney schedules to choose from, because I am working to try to get this, get help as many people as possible. I was told there are restrictions with the T visa when traveling. So usually the number one priority for my clients who are here trying to seek relief and who don't have their papers is not necessarily to travel. The first is to stabilize themselves, to get their papers, to live and work here in the US. Traveling, they have made very clear in the policy manual. So we don't prioritize getting any kind of travel documents for our clients. Our number one goal is to get status for our clients so they're not at risk for deportation. They get protection, they get relief from the discomforts they've been facing here, and they can get out of the shadows and get rid of the fear. That's a number one priority. Now, after they get approved for the T visa, then they have made very clear in the policy manual that they do allow T visa applicants to apply for travel documents. But the travel document is not an entitlement. It's going to be something that you have to apply for. All right. Thanks everybody for your time. I'll be back. So I'm aiming to get back tomorrow. So please join me tomorrow. What I'm saying now is because I am just busy trying to get cases out, working with the team to review cases, review case strategies. So my days have gotten very unpredictable in regards to getting onto the live. But what I would say here is follow me, like, subscribe, do what you can so that when I do come on, and if you're also available, you can hop on with me, and then I can answer questions, I can answer your questions, or you can just sit back and learn some new information. All right, so I am aiming to get back tomorrow. So please join me. I really love your questions. I enjoy answering them. So keep those questions coming. And so if I didn't get to answer your questions, please hold on to your questions for next time.